Hello, true duelists. My name's Craig Fee, and welcome to the new card report. Legacy of Destruction is the set following up Light of Destruction some 16 years later, and fittingly enough it brings with it 5 new cards for the Lightsworn archetype. The fan-favorite archetype has been popular since release, and more than that, offers ample milling for countless strategies. And if 2022 and 2023 have shown us anything, that's never ever going to be a problem. No other deck will ever abuse milling, right? Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the new milling toys we're about to get in 2024. Baby Dragon! Baby Judgment Dragon, that is. Dragon of Lightsworn is a level 4 light dragon with 1500 attack and 1300 defense, a cute little half of every single one of Judgment Dragon's stats. This can special summon itself from the hand if you control a Lightsworn monster, and on special summon is able to send any Lightsworn card from your deck to the grave except for a copy of itself. And lastly, if it's sent to the grave, it'll add a dragon monster with exactly 3000 attack and 2600 defense from your deck to your hand. Hot damn. Judgment Dragon is now searchable with even greater ease, because I think the trap did before, but we don't talk about that. Punishment Dragon's actually searchable too, fun fact, but that's a lot less notable, unless of course you're a fan of this motion that went on in the secondary market, because, well, new support got announced. Beyond that, it gives access to the easiest rank 4 or Synchro 8 play possible when paired with a level 4 Lightsworn and most notably something like Raiden, i.e. a tuner. But that's not a bad thing, is it? It's not like Raiden's a bad card in Lightsworn decks. Plus, if it hits the grave from anywhere, it gets that search, be it from a simple mill off a luck sack, or being detached or sent to the graveyard as link material or synchro material. It's a solid extender, it's a good bit of legacy support, and it's a cute little dragon. It's not a bad start, truly carrying on the legacy. Huh? Up next is Weiss, Lightsworn Archfiend, a level 4 Light Fiend tuner with 0 attack and 1700 defense that can place another Lightsworn monster from your hand to the top of your deck in order to special summon itself and then mill the top 2 cards of your deck to the grave. And if it itself is sent from the deck to the graveyard, you can target one Lightsworn monster in your grave except for a copy of Weiss and special summon it. That's nice. That is very nice. It mills, but it stacks a Lightsworn first, so in order to get the mill, you need a Lightsworn. Thumbs up. So for the wider game at large, there's less Gamba mills, and Lightsworn players finally have something to do when they inevitably open those wolves that just always in the opening hand, aren't they? Truly, the pinnacle of card design, and that's coming, without the mention of the fact that this is both a Lightsworn and an Archfiend. It's very close to just being 2 archetype names as a name. Oh, and it's also Snow from the Dark World cards, for whatever that's worth. I guess Snow followed Raikou home. I don't know the lore, I just know that it's the inverse stats, and the Lightsworns have another tuner with an even greater ease of summoning, so a notable lack of the good old end phase mills that previous Lightsworn cards had, but probably for the better, just in the simple regard to making them playable on your turn in the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh, isn't it? Less good in terms of modern Yu-Gi-Oh, but otherwise dope as fuck, or at least in regards to my opinions, is of course Enlightenment Dragon. A new level 10 light dragon fusion with 3000 attack and defense that will need both Judgment Dragon and Punishment Dragon as fusion materials. But in order to summon it, you'll need to banish one of them from the field and one of them from your graveyard. The payoff for making this golden beauty is the quick effect to pay 2000 life points and banish all other cards on the field and in both players' graveyards. It also keeps the Judgment Dragon effect to mill for in the end phase, contradicting what I had immediately just said in the last segment about no more end phase milling, so thank you, Konami. That's cool. And if this is destroyed by the opponent, you can add one each of your banished Judgment Dragon and Punishment Dragons to your hand and then special summon them both out, ignoring the summoning conditions. So it's dope, and that mass banish effect is nothing short of insanely strong. The mill 4 effect is nice, even if it's, the end phase dependent one, and floating on destruction is never a bad thing. But it seems to me to be a very long walk for a short sip of water, if you will. You need one of the 2 dragons on board and the other one in your grave, which by itself isn't necessarily huge. Getting 4 Lightsworn names for Judgment Dragon isn't exactly a struggle most of the time, and milling Punishment Dragon will make that easier, but that also means you have to be playing both Judgment and Punishment, which are brutal bricks in the early game. The float is also destruction dependent, which is a shame because removal these days quite often isn't destruction anymore. I like it, I think it's cool, but I don't see it being played in abundance because if you're at the point where you're making this, you can probably just use JD and then swarm some more afterwards to win anyways, no? That's a shame because it looks cool as fuck. And the name is cool too, like it's just dope. Duelists winning with this thing, definitely gonna be the enlightened ones. Minerva, Lightsworn Athena, is a new Synchro 8 for the deck, giving something other than Michael to make for the new decade, and you know, all more access with those level 4s. This fairy is a light attribute and has 2800 attack and 1800 defense, and to summon will need any tuner and one or more non-tuners. On Synchro Summon, it can send Lightsworn monsters with different types from your deck to the graveyard up to the number of Lightsworn monsters used as materials to summon this. And it can banish up to 4 Lightsworn monsters from your grave to then mill the same number of cards from the top of your deck. It also has a lovely bonus effect that will make all your Lightsworn monsters unable to be banished by card effects, which doesn't state where, so it keeps them safe in the grave and on the field from your own Enlightenment Dragon. It also allows you to summon it easier by making punishment live, right? You know, the Enlightenment Dragon, so that's cool. I'm not sure that that's worth it, but it does make it easier to get punishment and Enlightenment Dragon out. You know, Enlightenment is easier now too, that's the key point. I don't know how much more viable that makes it because again, you probably just steal a win with those 2-3k beaters, but what do I know? It makes milling off of, you know, Felis and a Wolf, if you use 2 Lightsworns to make this initially, will get you a bonus level 8 or rank 4. So that is awesome. I think it's still playable by any stretch, but I don't know if turboing into Enlightenment Dragon will be anything more than the funsy stuff for casuals. Not necessarily, you know, competitive, but really the takeaway from this card is that Minerva is now even older, and that's crazy. Last up for the new support is Lightsworn Aegis. Another Lightsworn trap card. Did they make this one work at least? It does have the necessary effect of sending itself to the field if it itself is milled, which is good because you need it to do something in the graveyard, otherwise it's useless in a Lightsworn deck. The actual effect when activated is to target face-up cards up to the number of Lightsworn monsters you control and then negate their effects until the end of the turn. That is not bad. It targets face-up cards, meaning you can take out a spell or trap card activated by the opponent, which means Lightsworn have a bit more of a way to play around something like Dark Ruler or more, or even evenly matched. They use it, and then you chain this targeting that face-up, and then it resolves, and bada bing, bada boom, you're doing great. It does require you to control Lightsworn monsters to use, and none of the Lightsworn monsters really do much on the opponent's turn, do they? Like, Xyz Minerva will possibly destroy things if itself is destroyed. And I guess if you've got Synchro Minerva partnered with the new Fusion, that's something, but the new Fusion is itself not a Lightsworn monster, so I don't know. I don't know. If your board is all Lightsworns and Enlightenment, that feels like Imperm's a very easy solution. I just think that this is really going to be something that's negating 2 cards at a time at most broadly, because Lightsworn's realistically going to use those good old generics like Barone and Borreload Savage to make their end boards, and like Nightmare Cerberus. You might think that I would rather say SP Little Knight instead of Cerberus, but they're a Lightsworn player, they're probably on a budget. That or they've spent $4,000 fucking dollars on ulti JDs and prize card Minervas. There's actually no in between for Lightsworn players, it's crazy. All in all, it makes for some interesting support. Things like the new Dragon and the new Tuner help with some old issues. That is, easier access to Judgment Dragon and putting cards like Felis and Wolf back into the deck as a means to help unbrick yourself, if you will. All while being, you know, good new cards to help as extenders to make plays to help the deck keep up with more modern cards and, you know, strategies. Nothing here locks anything that's going on, so they can still make use of those generics like I mentioned. It's really a case where the main deck toys are better than the extra deck ones to me broadly. Synchro Minerva's dope, don't get me wrong, but I don't know how much I'd put faith into enlightenment. Maybe I'm just not enlightened enough to see the true power. I'll gladly admit to being wrong, but I just don't see it. I will give kudos to Konami for making these tied into Lightsworns. The mill effects require you to either have made JD or PD, and you know, not Snow always is milling 1 random card. And also, new Minerva can mill 4, but you need 4 Lightsworns to be able to do that, so you're pretty locked into the strategy at that point, most likely. It's nice to see less of an Ishizu sort of situation, is the point I'm making here, okay? I respect that, or more accurately, I look forward to not having to dread seeing this as abundantly as we saw the Ishizu cards. He said, tempting fate. It's not as strong as the deck felt like it was relative to its debut in 2008, but hey, that won't stop the hype train. I'm interested, and having a friend personally that played both Lightsworn and Ancient Gears, this makes for an interesting set in regards to Legacy of Destruction. So you can go ahead and guess what it is tomorrow's video is going to be about. That's right, it's going to be about the LIFD magnetic display. There's no getting away. What can I say? Promo code Yugioh Strats for 15% off to get yourself one of these bad boys, be it the 3-man unit or the individual card display unit. The best way to support my channel, and of course, the true duelist-approved way to show off your favorite cards. Again, that's Yugioh Strats 15 is the discount code, or you can have it apply automatically by clicking the link in the description. Thanks to LIFD for the support as always, and thank you for watching. Until next time, I've been your host, Gregory Me. That's not my name, but it's what I said, so deal with it. I'll have more new card reports, or at least one new card report coming out this week, and then it's the update on Friday as usual. Work don't stop, the grind never ends. And until then, I'll see you next time. Please hit subscribe on Yugioh Strats. Not only will you impress your smoking Italian wife, but let me tell you, you'll immediately and legally become a true duelist.